What if people just stopped having kids? A future where women can't have babies is a topic that's been explored quite a bit in the world of sci-fi.
God whipped up a special plague, the plague of infertility.
Why are women infertile? Why can't we make babies anymore?
But is there any truth to these works of science fiction that speak of a childless dystopian future? Well, between the years 2050 and 2100, the combined populations of Asia, Europe, and Latin America are expected to shrink by hundreds of millions of people. And some demographers say that by 2076, children will be rarities. We won't be living in a world where women are biologically incapable of having babies, we hope. But many people have been opting for fewer children for years. To keep populations stable in industrialized countries, the fertility rate needs to be about 2.1 babies per woman. But it's below that in America.
The fertility rate in the United States reached its lowest level in history in 2016.
It's even lower in Europe.
In 2015, only 488,000 babies were born in Italy. That is the lowest number ever since the modern state was founded in 1861.
And in Japan, so few people are being born that the population is not only getting smaller, it's getting older. People aren't getting into as many romantic relationships, having as much sex, or making as many babies. Taiwan and South Korea are headed in the same direction. They also have alarmingly low fertility rates. It turns out there's a theory that explains this phenomenon. It's called
the demographic transition.
That's Professor Ray Dionandan. He studies these kinds of things.
The idea of transition is that as income increases, people have fewer children. As longevity increases, people have fewer children. As urbanization increases, people have fewer children. Population growth is slowing faster than we thought.
The demographic transition happens in 5 stages. I'll pass the mic over to Ray.
In stage 1, we are living an agrarian lifestyle, farming. We have a lot of children that help us run the farm, and they're probably going to die young, so we always have to have more and more of them.
So there's a lot of people being born and also a lot of people dying, so they cancel each other out.
In stage 2, something magical happens. We discover public health and hygiene, vaccination, clean water. As a result, the things that would have killed us easily are better controlled.
Meaning fewer people are dying, but there's still a lot of people being born. So this would be like a number of sub-Saharan African countries where the population is ballooning. In fact, by 2100, Africans are expected to make up more than a third of the world's population, with 4.5 billion people. But its fertility rates are expected to reverse as Africa enters the next stage.
In stage 3, we discover contraception, education for women, urbanization. As a result, due to social pressures, we feel that we don't need to have that many children anymore.
So way fewer people are being born, and the number of people dying is slightly less. India and some Middle Eastern countries fall into this category, and some would say China and Iran have already emerged from it.
Stage 4 is when death rate and birth rate are very low. There isn't a whole lot of reason to have children except for personal reasons. There's no economic reason to have a child.
This is basically Europe and the United States today.
In stage 5, people are rarely having children, and most people are senior citizens.
And some demographers consider Japan to be a stage 5 country. Its population has already dropped by 1 million people, and it's expected to lose 40 million more people by the year 2100. The demographic transition is not a perfect theory. It doesn't account for things like war, climate change, or religion. But what we do know is that once the fertility rate has dropped too low, it's difficult for countries to reverse the trend. Studies show government attempts to do so have only been met with modest results. But there is one potential solution: immigration.
Europe is going to have to open its doors to more immigration if it wants to maintain the wealth that it has, because immigration brings in young people, brings in people contributing to the tax rolls, and people who fill needed jobs.
Immigrants have helped the U.S. offset a declining fertility rate and the population decreases that come with it. The same has happened in Germany. But what about countries like South Korea or Japan? They have extremely strict immigration policies. So for a stage 5 country like Japan, what's next for them?
I don't know, except to say that they're going to have to import people if they want to maintain the economic wealth and status that they currently enjoy.
Infertility scenarios like Children of Men or The Handmaid's Tale aren't in the cards, but in many parts of the world, people will have fewer and fewer babies, and populations will get progressively older. As social norms change and economic conditions and public health improve, there will be more and more countries with shrinking populations.